Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy. It's a pleasure. It's my honor to always be greeting you and bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look no other place but to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. That's the reason why I want to speak to you today concerning the play of life and how it is God who's playing all the parts. Now, many people fail to realize that life it's a game and that it's a psychological game. But for you to understand that more clearly, let me first point out to you that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. That the Bible is not literal, neither is the Bible secular history. For the Bible is written symbolically, and it have no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago or to any actual event that would have taken place on earth thousands of years ago. As a matter of fact, from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible, it's all a great psychological drama, and it all have to do with the human psyche. So in short, the entire Bible is parabolic. And so there's nothing that can be done in this world that wasn't first a thought or first an idea. It had to be first imagined. Therefore, the creator in man is actually our imagination. So whenever you hear me speak of God, I'm speaking of imagination. Now, just to help you a little bit, I'm going to give you some scriptures to prove what I'm saying to you that you can read for yourself. It is said in Deuteronomy 32:39 that I am God and there is no other. Say, I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. For you to wound someone, it had to first be a thought. For you to reach out to someone in some healing way, whether you want to pray for them or you want to wish them well, it had to first be a thought. It had to first be an idea. It had to come from the imagination. Therefore, everything exists in the imagination of man, which is God in man. So my brothers and my sisters, the point I really want to get across to you is that the rich man, the poor man, the beggar man, the thief, it is the same character that is playing all of these parts. And it has been done by the states of mind that we choose, because there are infinite states of mind, or states of consciousness. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But I want to remind you that it is God that is playing all the parts. Because every part that is being played, it can be played by those who are asleep or those who are awake. And so those who are still asleep, they will be ignorant of how the mind works. They will be ignorant of their identity. They are the ones who do not know who they are. And they're still living in doubt and fear. Those are the ones who believe in a God or a power outside of themselves and fail to realize that the Bible is their spiritual autobiography that must be interpreted psychologically. Now, when we come to understand that it's God that is playing all the parts, then we'll be able to understand people, and we're able to have a better understanding of how life works. And so be able to appreciate people in spite of their lifestyles. So the lesbian, the homosexual, the transvestite, it is all God playing all the parts. But all the choices that have been made, they all have consequences. So even being rich, it has its consequences. Being poor, it has its consequences. Being a homosexual, it has its consequences. Being a lesbian, it has its consequences. Being a transvestite, it have its, as I would have said before, its consequences also, okay? So everything will have its consequence. Yet it is God that is playing all the parts. Now this kind of understanding will help you in manifesting what you want to manifest in this world, because you would realize that everyone is working together and playing their part to help you to accomplish your goals. All of these different people are individuals whom I would have mentioned are part of the collective consciousness. For we are the microcosm in the macrocosm. There's one great divine mind, and every mind is attached to that great infinite divine mind. We are all spirits having a human experience. And I just want to remind you that the persons are individuals whom I would have mentioned before that many people tend to look down upon. I want to remind you that their name is also I am. And the name of God is I am from generation to generation, and it's a memorial. So if you believe that the name of God is I am, and you can never say I am and not referring to yourself, then you will understand when I say that it is God that is playing all of the parts. So someone might ask me if the murderer, if it's God playing the parts. And I said, yes. Then I'll say to you, read Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 to 7 also, where it says, I am God and that there is no other. I create the darkness and I create the light. I create good and I create evil. So my brother and my sisters, when you come to understand more about life, you come to realize that the only one that you're responsible to change is yourself. Therefore, you must focus on changing yourself so you'll be able to change your world and live the life that you so desire to live. It is not wise for you to depend on a politician to change your world or your life for you. It is not wise for you to depend on a preacher to make that change for you. You see, that's the reason why many times when a preacher does something like sleep with another woman outside of his wife, many of the members would stop going to that church or stop following that pastor because they never put trust and believe in themselves. They were believing in the pastor. And they never know who is God. And they never understand that it is God that is playing all of the parts. Though these parts, as I would have said before, they have their different consequences. But when you have the right understanding that there is only God in the world, and that the real name of God is I am, and you can never say I am, as I would have said before, without referring to yourself, then you will realize that we are one. There's only one universal consciousness. Therefore, you accept everyone. You'll be more loving towards everyone. You'll be more peaceful towards everyone, and you'll be able to forgive everyone because you have a better understanding of life. And that will help you to create your reality more consciously. Also, it will help you to overcome the demon of gossip. Because many people who do not have the right understanding of God, especially those who have a religious mindset, many are still trapped in gossiping because they do not understand. But when you understand you'll be able to deal with everyone with an understanding heart, with a loving heart, with a forgiving heart, because you know everyone is your own self, been pushed out. They're just different version of yourself. So you will go wrong living your life in this consciousness of knowing who you are. And when you know who you are, you will understand others and you'll have better relationship with others, and things gonna work out in your life for the better. Everything that you put your hand to, it would prosper. You would be like the tree that planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth its fruit in due season, because you understand the law of consciousness. You understand universal laws, the laws that governs all of humanity, the laws that governs this. But most of all, you understand that your real identity is your divinity. So when you know your true identity, you will know the identity of others also. And you would know that each and every one of us, we have ability, we have gifts, and we all have to use our gifts and our ability to be of value to humanity. Therefore, we would never have a condemning heart towards others, but a loving heart. Because at the end of the day, the most creative and powerful energy is the love energy. Yet there's only one energy. But this same energy that you can use for love and creativity, it is the same energy that can use for fear, hatred, doubt, and judgment towards others. Therefore, my brother and my sisters, my encouragement to you is to think wisely and understand that it is only God in the world, and it's only God playing all the parts, because this is a great psychological play. It's a drama. It's all a game. You either learn to play the game of life or be played by the game of life. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I believe I would have said enough to you. And you know what part that I would have said that is very much needed for you and to help you to grow. Also want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me and what I'm saying is really resonating with you and you would like to get more of this teaching, I would encourage you, if you haven't subscribed already, to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. But before I leave you, I just want to remind you that this message that I bring to you, that it is the single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says that if your eye be single, your whole body would be full of light. And my brothers and my sisters, I want to share with you how that single eye has opened within me and I was filled with light. After I would have experienced that great and mighty shaking, and I would have heard the unearthly wind and awake from the dream of life and ascend like a fiery being. Now, when I awake from the dream of life, it allowed me to understand when it says in the Bible that you shall change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye, and come to realize that that twinkling of an eye is an opening of an eye, where you will awake and you would experience the virgin birth, you would experience the resurrection. All these things will take place in one night. And you will come out of your skull and find your body to be the empty tomb. And you will know that you have reached that place of your Christ consciousness, where you have become invisible, become one with the wind. And then you will be sent to bring this message of self-realization to your brothers and sisters, for them to discover their eternal self, for them to discover the inner world within themselves, for them to discover their Christ consciousness and live the highest version of themselves. So this is the good news that I'm bringing to you. This is the good spell that I'm bringing to you to help you to be a better person. That's the reason why, my brother and my sisters, I always encourage you and always point you to look towards the symbol and the US dollar with the eye above the pyramid, and saying to you that it is not an evil symbol as the religious ones will have you to believe. It is the symbol of the all-seeing eye of God in you, who is your imagination, for you would have an awakened imagination and come to realize that the eye represents the eye of the mystics, the eye of the prophets, the seers, those who would vibrate beyond humanity and come into their divinity. That's the reason why I always put my hand right above my crown chakra and give you the symbol of the single eye, saying to you that when you have the experience, that you will come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun, as in the S-U-N, parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. Also, you're told in Psalms 84:11 that the Lord thy God is a sun, as in a S-U-N, and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And truly the sun has never withhold its energy from all of humanity, for the sun is what powers all of humanity. Also, you're told in Malachi chapter 4 verses 2 that the sun, as in the S-U-N, of righteousness shall arise in you with healing in his wings. And that's why I can tell you that God is light. And when that light has risen in you, you will want to bring healing to all of humanity and point each and everyone to look inwardly. That's the reason why my encouragement always to you is to use your mind power, which is your sun power, your solar power, your God power, your creative power, which is actually the sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.